Hi, welcome to Camposol Questions again. Today we've got something very, very different for you because instead of having Paul and Julie in the studio, we've got Julie and a special guest. And it's not so much answering your questions from your emails, but hopefully giving you some information which will be very valuable and hopefully you can take away something from this. So in the studio with me today, we do have Julie and we've got Suzanne from FAST. Hi guys.
Hi.
Hi there.
How you doing?
To see you.
Julie, what are we doing today? Why is this a bit different on Camposol Questions?
Right. Well, I was asked to sit in on a couple of meetings with FAST, the Town Hall, Social Services and Protection Civil. And FAST have actually put together a folder. They call it the red folder. And it's, Suzanne will explain in a minute, but it's for when anyone is ill, has an accident, the responders will know exactly where to look for it, what's wrong with them, if they've got any medical complaints, etc.
So, okay, so we're going to be talking about this new initiative from FAST. Can we go through, please, for anyone that's new to Camposol or thinking to move to Camposol or just visits the area?
Yeah.
Suzanne, what is FAST, please?
Right. Well, FAST it actually stands for First Aid Support Team, and we are your Camposol's very own responder service. We're a group of volunteers who are all trained and certified by the Merthian Health Authority and our own authorities, and we're regulated by the European Resuscitation Council as well. And we are effectively certified to go out and provide first aid in an emergency situation.
Okay, so this is just for the Camposol region as far as A, B, C, D, just on Camposol, yeah?
It is, yeah. I mean, we do go as far as El Saladillo, but I mean, literally, we are regulated to this area because, you know, the idea is we get there before the ambulance arrives. So, and we can't get to other places before the ambulance arrives. There's a limit to how quickly we can drive.
I noticed you said you're regulated. This is an official body. It's all volunteers, but it is an official body. You've got all the regulation, the paperwork, so it is a proper official first response body, FAST.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. We wouldn't get away with doing anything outside of the sort of Merthian Health Authority's remit without the relevant certification.
So how many volunteers have you got?
Well, altogether, I mean, I think there's about 75 people in FAST.
Right.
They're not all responders. I mean, we have a big support team as well of fundraisers and just just members who support us at various functions and things.
Is this like when you put the buckets out and you collect a bit of money?
Absolutely.
Or do the paperwork and the admin?
We don't get any money from anywhere else other than from the people of Camposol. So, and unlike a lot of the charities here, because our activities are restricted to Camposol, we do really feel that we have to restrict our fundraising to Camposol too, because because if you're getting people from outside of the area, we can't actually give them the service that they're donating towards.
Yeah.
Having said that, the service is there for people that are visiting Camposol as well, whether as visitors with holiday homes, staying in Camposol, or just literally coming in to use the bars and things like that.
If anything happens, accident happens, someone falls over or something like this.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's a service provided. It's a free service, am I right in thinking?
It is a free service.
So they don't pay for it when you arrive or anything, you don't get a bill.
No.
It's totally free. And it's there as a support service for, obviously, before the ambulance gets there.
Yes, that's the idea, is we cover that bit between you having called an ambulance and that ambulance arriving, which, I think most people now appreciate that can be the most critical period. I mean, for somebody who is not breathing or who is hemorrhaging badly,
or symptoms of stroke or
absolutely, they're the critical
problems.
moments.
Yeah.
And if we can get to them and start their treatment straight away, then obviously, they stand a better chance of recovering well.
Sorry, Julie.
Sometimes people actually don't know whether to call the ambulance or not. So they will ring FAST, won't they?
They will.
And then you'll advise them, yes, you do need to call an ambulance.
I mean, we do get a lot of people that actually ring us, because they don't know whether they should ring an ambulance or not, and we can advise them on that. And there's also the people that are scared to ring an ambulance because they think they've got to be able to speak Spanish to do so. And just so that I can put that fallacy to bed, that is not true. You ring 112 and you can ask to speak to somebody in your own language, whether that's German, French, English, Flemish, whatever. They will respond to you in your own language.
That's good.
So, for a lot of people, that is a huge barrier to ringing 112. So,
Can I ask, Suzanne, what would your advice be to somebody that is having a medical emergency and somebody's with them? Do they phone you first or do they phone 112 first?
they should phone 112 first.
Okay.
And get them on the way, because they're going to take longer to get there. So
Fine.
they ring 112 and then ring us.
Yeah.
Then at least when we go out, we know, well, for want of a better word, the cavalry is coming.
Yes, of course.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, we are a first aid support team. We are not your paramedics. So we don't have the range of options open to us. I mean, things like we are not allowed to do anything invasive. So we can't test for blood sugar levels and things like that because it involves pricking somebody's finger.
But what you can do is when you get there, be a reassuring person, a level-headed, reassuring person when maybe somebody's fallen over or somebody's had an accident and they're panicking and they're worried about their loved one. You can be a reassuring voice for them to sort of count on.
And put them in the right position.
And we notice that all the time. I mean, when you first get there, sort of one of the first things you're doing, as well as talking to them, is taking blood pressures and things like that. And you'll see when we first get there, the blood pressure reading is sky high, but having taken control of it, the blood pressure often just comes down that time. I mean, it might not return to normal because they're still having an emergency, but it actually just diffuses the situation a bit. So,
can I ask, just before we talk about the new initiative with the red folders, if anybody wants to get involved with FAST, how do they do it?
Right. Well, obviously it depends how you want to get involved. For responders, we've actually changed our recruitment process quite recently. People that want to come and to join us as responders, to come down and join us at our training session on a Tuesday between 10 and 12 at the Cultural Centre in B.
Just down from the bank?
Yeah,
just down the road.
because that gives them an opportunity to meet the team for a start and also see our training in process. And then if they decide that they want to carry on, then what we'll do is we'll send them out as a shadow with an on-duty responder team, so that they get to see.
So full training is given?
Yeah, I mean, that's sort of all pre-training stuff, and it's really just to give them a sort of like almost try before you buy stuff.
Yeah.
So they don't need a number, they can just, they know they have to go to the Cultural Centre on a Tuesday between 10 and 12.
Yes.
They don't need to think,
no, you don't. No, you don't need a number. Just come and turn up. We actually had 2 people turn up this morning, which is lovely. It literally just come and see us, come and meet us, come and see what we do, and then come and watch us while we do it. And then if you decide that's for you, then what we will do is put you through your initial 3-day responder training. That's all free for the person that's coming in. FAST cover all the costs on that. Once they're trained, we do ask that they do at least 3 shifts a month, assuming they're here, 3 shifts a month, and come up to at least one of the training sessions. The ongoing training is incredibly important because, there's no easy way to say this. We're all getting that little bit older and things don't stick quite as well as they used to. So the ongoing training, particularly, the practicing your CPR and things like that needs to become automatic rather than something that you're sort of, I think I know how to do this. You need to drop straight into that. If somebody's not breathing, you need to be able to do that without thinking.
Yes, a level head.
Yeah, and that comes from practicing, and that comes from coming to training.
So FAST as an organisation is established. A lot of people will know FAST. I'm sure you know FAST as well. And if you've been ever had to call them, I've been in a situation where I haven't had to call them, but somebody has, and within about 3 minutes there was 2 FAST people there, and then about 15 minutes later the ambulance came along. But that 12, 13 minutes between when FAST arrived and when the ambulance came was invaluable to the person that I saw. It was up at the golf club about 6 months ago. No, actually, no, it's a bit more than that, last year. But it was invaluable time, and I saw the service, and it was so professional. They turned up with the bags, they turned up with everything. FAST as an organisation, even if you don't want to get involved, if you see a bucket on the side of the road, if you see a bucket going around anywhere, put a couple of quid in, because at the end of the day, it could happen to any buzz, anything could happen, and I see it a little bit, it's not altruistic, it's more of an insurance policy for me. So if I do have a problem, then I know that somebody might make a phone call to FAST and I will be helped sooner rather than later. But we're here today to talk about a new initiative with FAST. So, Suzanne, what is this new initiative? You say a red folder. What's that all about?
Yeah, I mean, if I can just explain how it came about a little bit. I mean, obviously, we're called out to all sorts of situations, and sometimes, I mean, to be honest, the neighbours here are absolutely fantastic. They will look after each other, but you know, sort of for the best will in the world, your neighbour might not necessarily know all the information about you. They certainly, possibly, unless they're really good friends, they won't know who your next of kin is. They won't know what to do with your dogs or your cats. If you're going into hospital, they may be thinking, oh, I don't want to look after the dog or the cat, but it would be handy to know all these things beforehand. We have so many people that say, oh, I'm not going to hospital, I'm not going to hospital. Who's going to look after my cat? Who's going to feed the dog? That sort of thing. So what we've done, I mean, this is something that came from one of our support team, actually, initially, with something that she'd seen working back in the UK. Apparently, it has been tried here before, back in when Camposol was first here, and people had a little jar that went into the fridge. And if you've got those jars, don't chuck them out, just keep them in the fridge. This is an addition.
The jar used to have information in it?
It did. It had their medication and things in it.
Right,
so
okay.
and they kept it in the fridge. So don't chuck those out. This is in addition to your jar in the fridge if you've still got it.
So what's in the red folder then? We've got the red folder here.
Right.
We've got a few forms. We've got something here, a sticker, is it?
Right.
Tell us what you get in the package.
Well, when you come to pick it up, you've got the red folder, you've got a form with lots and lots of questions on it. And it's questions about your ID, your medical, whether you've got medical insurance or whether you're in the health system. So, because obviously we've got people doing both here. Nationalities, your language, things like that. They're all in there. And your contact details, your emergency contact details.
There seems like a lot of information you're putting on here. Should people be worried about giving that information out? Is this going to go into your database?
No. No.
So where does this go then?
None of this is going to go anywhere else except in your house. I mean,
So it stays in your home.
It
You're
stays
just filling
in your
it out.
home. I mean, it's got your ID stuff. It's got your health. It's got a health questionnaire in it. So if any medication that you're on, any treatments you've recently had, your latest prescription can go in there. If you've been into hospital, discharge notes are handy. Whether you're allergic to anything, whether you have an EpiPen, whether you are diabetic, epileptic, all those things. There are all questions that are in here,
And
along
when you
with
call
some other
FAST,
ones.
they've got access to this, but also the ambulance has got access to this
Yeah, well,
as
this
well.
is it. The idea is you pop all those bits and pieces and the paper into your red folder.
Yeah.
And then you put your red folder wherever you want it put. So if you want to put it in the bottom drawer in your bedroom, or the top drawer in the kitchen, or on the desk, or on the coffee table, that's fine. Wherever it suits you. And then how the emergency services will know where to look for it. We have the sticker, which has the Merthian Health ambulance logo on it and the FAST logo with my red folder is in both English and Spanish, and it's up to you to then say where it is. Very short.
Yeah.
You know, it's in the bottom drawer in the bedroom. Don't worry about, the bottom drawer in the left-hand side. If there's 2 or 3 bottom drawers, we'll just run around and go, whoa, found them. So it's
that
quick.
notifies the responder that they are on the list, sorry, they have a red folder.
Yeah.
So you put that on the back of the front door or on the fridge?
Back of the front door or the fridge. That's where the ambulance services and us would be looking for it.
And if they don't see that, then they're not going to waste time looking for a red folder.
No, that's right.
It's a good idea because you don't have to leave everything out, but you can have that so that immediate care.
But the onus is on you to keep this information up to date.
Yeah.
So, if you're, for want of a better thing, your emergency contact suddenly dies, you need to replace them. So,
Also,
it's those sorts of things. Or updating your medical history. You need to update the form.
Yeah, and also if you care for somebody else, if you're the carer for somebody, but you don't live with them, but you look after them, that's worth then keeping on the premises where they are, and keep the sticker there, because if you're not available, when FAST do come around, they'll see that sticker on the door or on the fridge. But if you can make sure they're up to date with any recent medical issues or whatever else, it just gives the FAST and the ambulance, when they come as well, a heads up as to what we can expect and we can treat more appropriately. So I think it's really important what you're doing.
Yeah.
Now, how much do these folders cost?
They are being handed out free of charge.
Okay.
Simply because the town council, we've included them at all stages of this. They've been instrumental in sort of the actual questions on the form and the logos and everything, so that they are aware of it. And they were absolutely adamant they want this to be provided free of charge, so that nobody thinks that they haven't got the funds to actually come and give them.
Okay, so it's totally free.
Yes.
And if I wanted one of these for my house, where would I go?
At the moment, our distribution point is the Fast Desk outside Ali Pally's on a Friday morning between 10:30 and 12:30. But once we establish sort of the stock coming through, because it is a new initiative, we've got to get that stock coming through from the town hall. Once we've got that, we have some other people set up to actually distribute it in other places and at other times.
And other sectors, A sector,
Yes,
B sector,
yes,
etc.
yes, yeah.
Who can get it?
Yeah,
Well,
that's the point, actually. Do you have to qualify for it?
Everyone.
So you don't have to qualify as such.
No,
you don't have to say, right, I'm this poorly.
No.
There's no line.
No. No, it's not a case of you being poorly now. This is a, if I do get poorly, something happens to me. You don't have to be poorly. You have an accident. You can fall down some stairs. I mean,
But then if you are a diabetic or if you have got these other symptoms of
it's
other
obviously
things,
more important.
then you know.
Yeah.
So it's more important for the older people and the infirm.
Absolutely, and for people living on their own.
Yeah.
But if you are living, sort of if it's a couple living in a house together, you have 2 folders. You have one each, but just one sticker. So put your folders in the same place.
Yeah.
And just one sticker on the door, so that we know where to go. Because the names are on the front, then you literally will pick. Oh no, that's the other one. There we go. So.
And I suppose you put your funeral plan in as well.
Yeah. I mean, if the worst happens and we're called out, and actually there's nothing we can do for the person, they are already dead.
Yeah.
Obviously, the ambulance still has to come because they had to certify the death, because we can't do that. But then there's always the question of, well, what happens now? If you've got your funeral plan details down on there, if you've got one, or if you've got the name of somebody you want contacted in, if the worst happens, then you put it in there.
It's a one-stop place for everything, any possibility.
Yeah.
And then the other side of it, if you've got a DNR.
Yeah, I mean, so there are people out there who have what we call a DNR, a do not resuscitate order. I would say, I mean, sort of, that needs to be documented very carefully.
And the legal Spanish one.
It does need to be done legally in Spain. So if you've got one from the UK, get it done here, because it needs to be done officially. It needs to be done through the notary, and it needs to be notarised, and the copy, the original or a notarised copy of the original needs to be in your folder.
So a notarised copy needs to be in here for the responders or the ambulance responders to take notice of that DNR.
Yes.
Otherwise, they will continue as normal.
You can't just scribble, do not resuscitate me.
No, it needs to be, obviously.
It needs to be legal. I mean, we can't.
And it can't just be a photocopy of the original. It needs to be a notarised copy.
It needs to be very official for us to be able to take it as gospel.
It's about €110-ish at the notary
To actually get
do
it.
a DNR.
Yeah, which, if that's what's important to you, that's not a huge amount. So,
No, of course not.
That needs to go in there. But, it's got all sorts of questions in there with regard to, sort of trying to make things as simple, even silly things like, what do your keys look like? So that, if you're being taken off to hospital, the responder can look round and look for your keys to actually lock the door when the ambulance disappears.
So a lot of thought and planning has gone into this.
Oh, absolutely.
And like you said, you talked to the council about it first, and you've had their sort of okay with this.
Yeah. And
So this is properly official with social services as well, a proper official project.
Yeah.
And once you've rolled it out on Camposol and it works,
well, they have said if we can make a success of it here on Camposol, the town hall will actually roll it out across the municipality. So, which is brilliant.
I think it's a brilliant idea.
It's simple, but it's
also,
it
really
does.
good that something English. The Spanish are using something English to roll out.
Absolutely.
To the Spanish.
Yeah. So let's make it a success, and come and pick up your red folders.
Remind everybody where they can get the red folders at the moment. I know there's going to be more.
Yeah, at the moment, outside Ali Pally's on a Friday morning between 10 8:30 and 12:30.
So for 2 hours on a Friday,
Yeah.
outside alleys.
Yeah.
And if they go to your Facebook page, when you roll out other places where they can get them,
we
if they
will
can't get
update.
to B sector, for
Yeah.
instance, or
Yeah.
you're going to update
Yeah.
with where they can get them from.
We will update, sort of where you'll be able to get them from, and also we're going to put on there some tips for sort of actually completing it, just in case it's at all unclear. We'll put in some tips for for completing the questionnaire and what to do with it once you've done it.
Sorry, Julie, go
So
on.
just one question. So if they're French, German, they'd still fill it out in Spanish or English? Or would they fill it out
Well,
in their
most of it,
language?
things like, sort of your language, your name, your dates of birth and things like that will automatically, sort of you can tell them in English, Spanish, whatever. The critical bit really is when it comes to describing a medical sort of history.
Yeah.
What we can do, if you come to, sort of, even when we've got other places, we can have a responder who is able to translate that for you into either Spanish or English and put it on the form. Simply, the only reason, I'm not being nationalistic about it here, because the only reason we've gone for English and Spanish on the form is because it will either be 112 who will want it in Spanish, or English for the fast responders. Some of our fast responders are not English, but they all understand English, so it makes sense. Otherwise, you're looking at a form that goes on and on and on and on. So
it's a new project, but you're rolling it out live right from the start.
Yes.
So if, let's say, Friday, 20 people come and get these. If somebody calls with one of these, it's live. Everyone's trained to work with it. Everyone knows what they're doing as far as fast goes.
yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So would it be possible in a couple of months' time for you to come back
We'd love to.
and explain to us how it's going, and maybe if you do come across any issues with people not filling out right or not understanding things, then we can throw some more light on it and explain it a bit more because obviously this is the first time, isn't it? This is a new project.
It's new to us as well.
So
we're
questions
learning
will
as we
come
go
up, I'm
along.
sure.
Yeah.
And if you have any questions as well, and you want to ask questions, once you've got this or you're struggling at all, obviously your first point of contact is fast. But if you've got a question what you think other people might want to know about filling in the forms or getting the folder, then contact us, obviously, at camposolquestions@gmail.com. Thank you, Julie. So contact us at that if you've got any generic questions about that. But obviously get in touch with FAST. I think it's a fantastic project.
Well, I just really hope that it works well, because it really makes our job and 112's job that much simpler.
And more productive as well, because you can act on their history.
Absolutely.
Rather than waiting to find out.
Yeah. Even when somebody is not, sort of unconscious or something like that, sometimes they just can't remember because they're in a state of emergency themselves.
Yeah.
So, remembering telephone numbers, names and things like that, it's not everybody's forte at the best of times. And when they're having when they're sort of in emergency like that, then it gets even worse.
Yeah,
So.
and the name. But something as simple as if you have an allergy and you've passed out,
Yes.
how are they going to know you're allergic to penicillin or whatever if they don't have something there?
No, that's true. It is absolutely true. That is on there, and
That's on one of the lists, one of the questions.
the questions about allergies and whether you have an EpiPen or some an adrenaline pen of some sort are all in there. And where can we find it? Where are we likely to find it?
Okay, have we covered everything you want to cover today on this? I think it's a fantastic project. Is there anything you want to talk about fast before we go on this subject? We covered, people want to get in touch, they can do through the Facebook page.
Yeah.
If you want to volunteer, whether it's as a responder or just somebody to help along and get involved.
Yeah.
Because it's a nice group of people, isn't it? It's
Yes,
nice.
I think
and it's
so.
sort of a community thing as well.
Yeah.
So if you do want to get involved, then go onto the Facebook page, comment, message them on the Facebook page, and just sort of see how it goes. Because I think any organisation, and Camposol's known for these organisations. This is why we set up this television station, because there's so many great organisations that are working with the community. And if you do want to get involved in the community, then this is probably up there with some of the best organisations to do so. And that's FAST, F-A-S-T, First
Aid Support
Team. Thank you. First Aid Support Team. FAST. Okay. So thanks for coming in.
Oh, thank you.
I hope this goes really well for you. I wish you all the
Thank
best.
you.
But it is going to take people at home to come along, pick up the folders and get involved.
Yeah, and it's a mammoth job for us because, there's quite a few thousand people here. So we were very busy last week, but we just sort of scratched the surface. So, yeah, it's going to be rolling for a long while, yeah.
Yeah, well, I
So,
wish you all the best with it, Suzanne. I think it's a fantastic project.
Thank you.
And thank you for coming in. Thank you,
Thank
Julie.
you.
And thanks for watching as well. This is Camposol Questions. And we do our normal program where you can email us at camposolquestions@gmail.com and with anything to do with Camposol and the relationship between the council and things like this. Today, we've just focused on FAST, a great organisation, the First Aid Support Team. I'll get that in a minute. I should have that written on the auto cue, but I haven't got it. So get involved with them if you want to, but if you're feeling like you just want to come and get involved in this project, this is the red folder. Questions are in there. That's the sticker that you put on the back of the door or on your fridge. And then if you do ever have a problem, and we hope you don't, but then it gives the team a bit of a heads up. Thanks so much for watching Camposol Questions today, and hopefully we'll see you soon on Camposol TV for another Camposol Questions. Take it easy. From me, Paul Price, bye-bye, and thank you very much, ladies, for coming in. I've learned a lot. Thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.